Static is the invisible enemy of the perfect paint finish. When panels have any level of static charge, they physically attract dust and dirt rather than letting it settle naturally. Usually, tack cloths and cleaning products are used, along with compressed air to clear the panels of debris before applying materials. But all of these methods create more static due to the physical disturbance of the substrate's molecules. Once static has attracted particles to a surface, they will cling. We need to break that surface tension and remove the static charge at the same time, therefore removing any particles present but also preventing the reattraction of others. We do that by introducing the stat gun as the final stage of the preparation process immediately prior to spraying. The precise jet of air scrubs the surface of any existing debris while using ionization technology to completely neutralize the static charge. Tacking between applications regenerates static charge, which also needs to be removed with stat gun. There is no point in removing static at the first stage just to recreate it at a later stage of application. Static needs to be continuously controlled. The smallest particles of dust and dirt within a job can incur costly rework through additional labor and paint costs. A contaminated paint job requires time-consuming nibbing and polishing. Once the static is neutralized, dust and dirt in the atmosphere is no longer attracted to the panel and simply flows out through the booth exhaust filters. Static electricity is the invisible enemy of the perfect paint finish. The static solution stat gun produces positive and negative ions, which are transferred through airflow. When stat gun is passed over a charged surface, this process eliminates any level of static charge present, ensuring the best results possible every time. When panels have a static charge, it can cause issues with materials transferring to surfaces. Static has a positive and negative charge, causing material to repel and attract from different areas on a panel. The higher the charge on panels, the more the paint will repel from the panel, causing more overspray and uneven coating of material. This can cause an inconsistent and blotchy paint job. The imbalance of positive and negative charge on a surface will prevent material from applying evenly across the substrate, being repelled from some areas and pulled towards other areas. This creates areas which underapply and others which overapply. With late model parts designs having more pockets, tighter grills, and more inset areas, these areas are harder to reach and get an even finish. The coverage becomes even harder to achieve when static is present. Static forms a magnetic field which does not want to allow material to penetrate it, causing poor coverage in these areas. Where there is insufficient coverage, the only solution is to keep applying material. Having positive and negative charges, both the panel and the material will either attract or repel in certain areas. Some particles come together where others repel and the transfer efficiency suffers. With this uneven static present across the panel, patchy or blotchy areas in the paint job will occur. Static can even force adhesion promoter to apply unevenly on plastic parts, which causes the base coat to flake off in areas where the adhesion promoter has not had sufficient coverage. By eliminating the static completely with the stat gun, the panel is now neutralized, allowing a nice, even finish on every coat. The static solution stat gun ionizes the panel, which adds the appropriate positive and negative charges to the surface, effectively neutralizing the static. This, in turn, allows the paint to lay evenly across the surface and increase transfer efficiency. Since the stat gun uses ionized air to neutralize static, the air can get into tighter spots, such as grills, insets, and tight corners. There will be better coverage, allowing the material to start out consistent and end consistent. By being able to use the stat gun in between every coat, each coat will have the same finish. Static is the invisible enemy of the perfect paint finish. The stat gun effectively eliminates static by producing ionized air which neutralizes static charges on work surfaces, enabling painters to achieve the best results possible with minimal effort. Many painters think that static is only present on plastics and only causes dust and dirt issues, but there are many more benefits to removing all static charges during a job. Static is an electromagnetic charge caused mainly during preparation of surfaces, not just on the raw substrate, but also between applications of different materials. Left untreated, static charge on surfaces can affect the way metallic particles in the paint behave. Metallic particles in paint should do two things. 1. Distribute evenly within the paint film. 2. Have a random orientation. This ensures even coverage and maximum reflection of light. The higher the static charge, the more the metallics are forced upright, losing their random orientation. In the same way a magnet affects iron shavings. When static levels vary across substrates and even across a repair area, where there is a higher static charge, the metallic will reflect less light due to the reduced surface area. This, in turn, causes that area to appear darker than nose adjacent. One of the most common examples of static causing color matching issues is bumpers that appear darker than the body of the car. Plastic always charges more highly than metal because it is an insulator and not a conductor. When metallics lay differently on one surface compared to another, it creates a difference in the appearance of that color. StatGun should be used on all substrates to ensure that the many different levels of static you will encounter will always be taken to zero right before you start application of material. Correcting these imperfections once they happen is possible with the right skill level, but it means more material and time must be used in order to correctly color match, in turn increasing costs and affecting booth times and ultimately productivity.